How's it going, YouTube? Welcome to the Cosmic Ray channel. I'm your host, Cosmic Ray. I know you're probably thinking, this is not Cosmic Ray, because I look a little different, right? Probably because I have clothes on. That's probably why. So yes, it is me, and looks slightly a little different because my hair is finally grown out since September the 1st. So it's finally grown out just a little bit. Um, so yes, besides all that, how are you guys doing? I know obviously I want to put a little light on the subject, in a sense, because certain things I want to be able to talk about. And I know, things are, one, kind of give like a little slight update, on, with hair and spirituality. So far, I feel it's like there's like some type of growth. I feel that depending on what type of avenue that you're trying to go towards in your spiritualness, if you will, you can have your head shaved and kind of like start over in a sense, to have like a cleansing of yourself, in your bars with your hair, because how a lot of individuals feels like your antenna, so that can help you, reach to in a sense like your higher self, or even connection, to your source, or to your connection within. Also to, I mean, of course, as you know, I said before, there's also like even monks who shave their head. Obviously, they're still spiritual, of course, So, no, for them, they still have their connection, So there's different ways of doing it. For me, just myself, not for you guys, but just for me, I do notice a slight difference. I feel that as I'm growing, of course, even with my facial hair, too, I realize that there are certain things that it's like when you go through certain physical things, you get these little scars, in life, whatever to say, if you're doing, like, I guess, just to make it easier, like sports or something physical, right? You get these scars, or say if you do some type of work or job that's like physically demanding, and the common thing, like, oh yeah, you get these kind of scars for doing this, or you get these accidents for doing that, and it's just like your war wounds kind of thing. There are, I think, slight, I don't know the right word to say, but there's slight comparisons, or slight equivalents to having with the hair too. I feel like in during my transitions, of life, going through these, my own little journey, if you will, my own little journey, that there are times, like, as my hair grows, like, so is my own spiritual growth, from within. My own transformation still grows also. So for me, I notice a slight difference. Nothing too big, nothing too crazy. I'm sure I can tell you more as my hair grows out, which obviously I don't even really want to even get to that point right now to talk about. There's many other things that I wanted to kind of go through. Um, so all I say is, right now, with so many problems, in this universe, in this realm, the universe has your back. And I know that's a really kind of easy thing to say. A lot of people like to say those things. Um, sorry. A lot of people like to say those things, because it sounds nice, it sounds great. I wanted to say this because it's something that I'm going through with my own spiritual growth. And there's times when, even you can say, well, so and so I know is dying, or so and so I know just got something bad happen to them. Where's the universe on that? And I was there too. I've been that type of person. I would just blame, other things because of the unfortunate things that are happening to myself or others. And I can't comment on that for obvious reasons. But what I can say, for you, your individual, for yourself, there is this thing that I've realized about consciousness. And I don't want to make this one of those videos of like, oh, believe in yourself, believe that you can jump into those magical shoes and click the heels 3 times and everything magically will, change and whatnot. Um, but there are certain things I feel that sometimes this universe can be somewhat slightly magical, in a sense, or some slight, I guess, feeling like it's kind of magic. Uh, Regarding the universe having your back, just with that, I've had, some dark days where I know I'm gonna, just trust me on this one. I know I'm gonna get slight off tangent, but I'm gonna come back full circle. So with spirituality, first you start letting go of control, right? You start letting go of this resistance, or this type of reactive type mode. Let go. You start to understand what the ego really is, and you start to let go of this ego self, this former self of conditionings, former self of control, what other people have taught you. You start going through. Sorry, I don't know if my candles are flickering. Obviously, the light's on, but you can kind of see slight shimmers. Um, anyways, you start going through, they start dropping this ego self, right? And then you go into this realm of this, you start adopting, I guess the easiest way I can say is like a spiritual ego. You start adopting this spiritual side of you, and it's great. You start to learn maybe how to eat better, learning that there's more just about yourself. I mean, to a totally different degree, not like being selfish, but just knowing about thyself and knowing about your inner self and knowing about others. To care, not saying that you never care for other people before, not like that, but just, oh, man, I know this just sounds weird. It's just a different sense of about caring for other people, like knowing truly what they go through in their shoes. Not just hearing something of like horrible on the news and you're like, oh great, someone died, someone got shot, blah blah blah. Same, let me change the channel. But you start to think of like, wow, this person had a life. Maybe they had kids. Maybe they had this. Like, crap, what's this world coming to? Like, why do people do this? Why is this happening? Why can't we truly do this? You start to think totally different about life, and you start caring about other things, maybe about the universe, caring about like the land where you live, your environment. Maybe actually care about what a community is, and you start caring about other things. It just, I don't know, they maybe thought it was just like, screw that. You start caring about that. You start changing your shift in consciousness because something is wrong in this universe. So it's a beautiful thing. You start changing your eating habits. Maybe, I don't know, you start doing a little bit more exercise. Maybe you start getting into yoga. You start getting into meditations, or just calming yourself or calming your mind in whatever way. You could be writing, drawing, whatever, anything, right? Um, so there's that, right? But sometimes when you drop that physical ego and you adopt the spiritual ego, you start going through this thing of like, you get into like what I call a very, very spiritual ego, to a point where you hate everyone that's not spiritual. Like, oh, I can't believe them. Oh, look at them. They're not enlightened. They are this. Like, oh, I can't believe. Like, oh, only if they knew the real world. And you start to, I don't know. This is different like sense. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a good thing about it. Trust me, there is a little good thing about it. But then when you start really focusing on that, you start to change, your mindset, and start changing other aspects of yourself. And so you start adopting this spiritual ego, right? And then for some reason, this universe, so beautiful, whatever you want to call it, God, creation, collective conscious, source energy, highest intelligence, many different names, right? Universe, whatever forces that are involved, right? Of course, no one's going to really know, the physical reality, of it unless you go through it. And of course, I can't tell you what that is because it's kind of different for everyone in a sense. So, anyways, don't want to go there. So, but regards to that, you start getting, I start to learn about that spiritual ego, and then this universe starts giving you this moment of clarity of, it's not just that physical ego you drop. You had to know what that is, and then you adopt the spiritual ego, but you had to drop that. And now it's like you have to intertwine both of them. You have to intertwine both of them. I feel like I need to turn off my lights so you guys can see my candles over here. But you have to be able to like drop that physical, sense. And you know what? I'm just gonna turn off the lights just to make it easier. You guys already know what I look like. It's all good. It's no big deal, right? All right. Okay, just a little better. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, so you start to drop that spiritual, ego in a sense, and this universe starts telling you, or God, whatever it is, right? Whatever you want to know, whatever is right for you, um, is that it's trying to tell you, you have to be able to do this. You have to be able to integrate them and integrate yourself back into society. And there was a point in my life where I kind of stopped working because I was laid off, for a little bit. Worked for a company for about like 11 years, and I got laid off. So, something happened. It had to happen in the sense for myself. I'm not saying for you, but for myself to go through this journey. I had to go through this thing. And what happens is that with this universe, I started feeling like, oh no, I'm not going to have a job. Don't need a job, blah, 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 right? But then I had to realize that, there was a reason why you were getting these gifts, or maybe a realization you already had these gifts, depending on how that works for you, right? But you start to understand more about life, more understand about your oneness, in this creation and this collective consciousness of life, that you have to utilize these gifts for something, right? So you have to kind of intertwine them back into the universe somehow, kind of give that gift back. Now, I know in your mind, like, I want to give the gift this way, I want to give the gift that way. I have my perception how exactly I want to go, but of course, as I've said from time to time again, that's not really how the universe kind of works, in a sense. So to kind of give up a little bit of that control, and then you start to let the universe take over. So you start to kind of just ride those waves, right? Like I always say. So you start riding these cosmic waves, and you start to kind of just flow through whatever type of waves you get, and you start to intertwine those back into the, if you guys heard me say the matrix, and back into 3D life of this whole control of the system, and whatever you want to call this thing. And you start to intertwine that. At least that's happened for me. I had to go back, and I was thinking, no, this can't be it. But I knew there was something for a reason, right? And it could be like you have to take 3 steps down just to skyrocket yourself and your life condition up. It may have to be like that. Or that dumb song, was it 2 steps forward or 3 steps forward? And I already messed it up. Whatever, 2 steps back, whatever. Okay. Anyways, I don't even know that song. So you know what I'm saying? Like you have to take a couple steps back to go to shoot yourself a couple steps forward, or even more steps forward. In a sense. So, the universe will do that to you, and it says you have to be able to do that. And for whatever reason, it could maybe for you to touch lives of other people, so that maybe they can get little hints of spiritualness, or maybe that essence of whatever people say, God, universe, goes into you, so you can just kind of give that out, so then we can be the messengers or the avatars for that higher self, or whatever it is. That's that divine being. That's that co-creation type of feeling of oneness to each other, so that we can kind of give the heads up to another person physically in this 3D realm of like, hey, this is what's going on. This is how someone else feels, and maybe they look up to you, or maybe they realize who you are, and they're like, you know what, maybe that person's kind of crazy, but I get what they're going through, or maybe I understand this a little bit, and that's just dropping a seed, and then for them, however that works, right? And it doesn't have to be that way. I'm just letting you know that can be. And then you go through this. So I'm going through this realm, or you can go through this realm of this 3D-ness of like wanting, universe, what are you doing? Like, why am I doing this, right? And I still start to feel like, for whatever reason, I'm supposed to be leaving this particular, like me personally, I feel like I'm supposed to be leaving this particular job. I don't know why. It's like I do still need money, right? But in a sense, like I know my spiritual path is going through somewhere different, like just different than normal, and it's okay. It's opening doors to other places, and it doesn't necessarily mean I'm skyrocketing. It could be I'm going sideways through a maze, but I know eventually it's going to go to something bigger. A bigger path, bigger door, and it's just learning everything. It's just like when you go through school, you learn different subjects and whatnot, and you can still learn whatever you want, but you're still learning different subject, even if it's a subject you don't like or whatever it is. You're just going through it for your journey. So I'm going through this for my journey, and I'm realizing there's other stuff in life. So back to that full circle thing. So with this universe, saying having your back. I've had these moments where like people just, I feel like they're just, not in a literal sense crapping on me, but you just start to utilize these abilities to kind of intertwine, or kind of integrate back into this matrix, to try using these spiritual gifts on people, and start to kind of smell other people's BS and more easier, or just to be able to empathize, and not just saying like, F this person's a blah blah, can make me feel this way, and I was so good and high and mighty and feeling great, and they just took down my vibration and they made me feel low. But of course, you got to protect yourself, when you're in that environment spiritually, and you got to have that little protection shield, if you will. And you start to learn about that too, being back in this matrix. Start realizing that you need to have this little toughen up, or how to utilize those things, not just when people say it, but put it into perspective, put it into practice. You have to be able to utilize that stuff, right? These little tools and hints and tricks, or whatever it is that people call, just try to, um, like hack, hack life, let's say like hacking the matrix, kind of sense. You have to learn these little life hacks, to be able to make yourself stronger. So you have to be intertwined or integrated back into this 3D matrix, so you can be stronger for a better purpose, for whatever it is. Maybe it's a better job that's a little tougher, or whatever it is, right? So just kind of learn stuff about people. I feel how to stop absorbing people's energies, start to observe, other things in life about myself. Not saying, ooh, I'm so high and mighty, look at me, I'm so cool, but it's just knowing about myself. There's times to let my cool down. So with this universe having your back, I feel like people like shit on me in a sense, and have bad days. And I literally realize it's more about myself and how I take that interaction. Yes, they were negative in a sense. They could have been in a better position on stuff, but and then instead of trying to like them trying to f over the company, you're that forefront of the company. You try to protect the company too, and and their values, and their dollar bills, if you will, and but you start to think of like, man, almost you feel slightly sorry, I guess, that no one kind of changed their life condition, or that's how they know life. They just feel this is how it is. You have to do this, to get ahead. You have to be able to, you know, take every little thing you can, and sometimes you have to. But in this sense, they were really trying to like F over the company. So it's one of those things where sometimes it gets to be bad. You feel like this is one of those moments where whether or not you take it too personal, of course you can't. You can't take this kind of stuff personal. So yeah, when I get in those moments and I'm slightly about to break, just slightly, not like a lot, just slightly. You start to get slightly emotional, like what the ish is going on? Like what is this? Like I had these other kind of jobs, and now I'm down to here, and now I'm doing this, and now I had this like momentum that I felt like at my highest peak. I was more than enlightened that if I was doing videos then, or if I was doing that, like I would have been like some guru or something that was like mystified and had these super magical abilities, and if I just only kept that going forward until someone sucked all that life out of me, until a narcissist sucked that life out of me. Anyways, it's just one of those things where you start to realize, or what happened to me, I start getting even more synchronicities, just like how you have, and you start to get in those moments of like, what is going on? Like you start questioning things, start to tear up, like, oh, and then you realize, okay, don't let it happen. Don't get too much focus on those bad things. Focus on the positive aspects. Thank this universe for having me have these type of situations in life so that I can overcome them, right? Instead of like, why is this happening to me? What's happening to me? Just be like, thank you, universe. I appreciate this. Thank you, And when those things happen, you start getting your synchronistic either numbers. For me, I get a lot of numbers, but then I started getting more of my spiritual animals and spiritual guides. They come in different forms, shapes, whatever, what have you. They can come in as animals, but for me, lately I've been getting like eagles, hawks, stuff like that. And it was one of those moments where like within 10 minutes, I would see something, and I wouldn't think that I did. And I realized, and it's what I would think at that time. So that think at that moment, when it's about to hit me, I'm like, oh, like why is this like, oh, hurt, and then this happened, and you just get this like overwhelming feeling, like it's like when someone tells you they truly love you, and you can feel it, you know it, versus them just telling you, and it just like, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. It's like, hey, so and so, thank you for being in this universe. Like I love you so much. Like you are the person that just not just shines bright in general when I see you, but you make me feel a certain way, even though I shouldn't have to feel this way from someone, but you just make me want to be something a little bit better, or for whatever reason. And like I feel this love, that this connection that we have. However, that's been said to you, right? And or maybe just having someone show you they love them. Maybe that's maybe better for you too, and that's okay. And whatever it is that lets you at that point, or that point of maybe reflection of like, now I get it, light bulb, things, I get it now. It's just that moment where like you get this overwhelming feeling like, oh yes, like, oh thank you, oh I know it, like thank you so much. You get that feeling, and to know that on those darkest moments, that you may have, the universe will have your back. And everyone goes through their own journey. Like, trust me, I can do. How we have the storytelling cosmic rays. I can do the I don't know what to call the dark moments of cosmic ray stories, or I can get really dark. I just feel that sometimes I don't want to relive certain moments of my life. I mean, I know it may help others out there, so maybe that's probably why I should do those. It's just sometimes when I try to relive those moments, I don't know if it is with you, but I'm an empath, so you don't have to be, but just so if it resonates, like sometimes it takes a lot out of me when I do that. Like I feel like I'm literally traveling back in time because those moments just happen. Like when I do that, when I think about those, just I feel like I'm literally back there, and those same exact emotions take over me, and I have to do my cleansing, my aura, my saging, whatever it is, my ho'oponopono, my grounding. I have to do so much work to kind of like let go of that, and just to fully let go, not just have it deep in here, just let it go. Like, and it's tough at times, so it's hard for me to relive those moments, but I've had dark moments too. Not saying my dark moments have to be darker than yours, or worse situation more than you, nothing like that, or yours has to be darker than mine, because like I'm not here to compare in that level and to play a game of saying who's worse. Because like I'll just say you can have it worse. You can have that title. I don't care. It's not a game like that for me. It's just we all have it bad. Let's just say that we all just have it bad. Sometimes it's different. Sometimes just the way we perceive certain things, and when we do, that's all we see. So hence the universe just brings that back. Because I know it sounds stupid. Because who wants to have negative things happen to them, right? But when you start to realize, when you start to have that moment and clarity that maybe if I shift my focus into something more positive, just maybe, things will start going good. And we start slowly seeing that happen. And instead of saying maybe, you're like, I know things are going good. Things are happening to me that are good. Things are, no, I am a lucky person. Instead of saying, luck does never come to me. Luck, I am luck. Luck just surrounds me. You start changing your perception and you start to see how the universe reacts. I've done videos before when I say it's that moment where like, ugh, I get that feeling like, and the universe like takes it like, too late. I'm taking that and I'm putting that out in the universe, and something's gonna come back to you, and voila, whether or not you want it or not, here you go. And people say you don't perceive the vibration, the vibration you perceive, right, is what is surrounding you too. So if you're in a darker feeling sense, you're gonna be surrounded by that, and it sucks, and it's not a good thing. I'm not here to tell you everything that's all let's say back in all hunky dory. I'm not here to tell you everything that's always like rainbows and gumdrops and everything that glitters. I'm not here to do that too. I'm trying to here to uplift your life condition, but I'm also to help bring a little bit of seriousness and levity, into things. I'm not a perfect person, so I can do videos on that, about certain things that happened to me that were dark in my darkest times of life. So I've had these moments. I wish I could tell you guys specifically what's happened to me, but I'm sure some of you may already even know what's going on when I say things were taken away from me. And you obviously know I haven't started talking about certain things that's going on in my life when I said that before. Um, and so it's a hard thing, when you're going through life. No one's going to have it easy. But then again, too, did you come here so that it would be easy? Did you come here to grow? Did you come here to learn? Did you come here to help put forth something positive in this world? Did you help to have joy, fun? I'm not saying you can't have fun every day. I'm not saying you can't have certain things the way you want in a certain day. But just keep in mind of all the days you have had things that are good that happened to you. Have you counted those instead of counting everything? Oh God, what was it? I think there's a song. Something just came into me right now. I think it was like, is it Rihanna? I don't know if it was like Rihanna and Ti or something. But the song like live your life, and it says stop worrying about this stuff that you don't have, or you start appreciating and being grateful for the stuff you do have, not for the stuff you don't have of life, and try to focus on that. Focus on things to be grateful for instead of things not to be grateful for, and I think I just want to stop there. I think I should just end it that way. The universe will reflect back what you want to put into it. Try not to think of the moments of, well, I did this and I've tried. Those are those negative things. Think of the positive stuff like, well, I've done this. I have done that. I am ready for this stuff to come back to me. Thank you, universe. You're so beautiful. Thank you. Try not to think of the other stuff of like, oh, I was just about to, oh, I've done this. Well, I've done this. Where's my reaping of all the stuff I've been doing? Try not to think that way. Try not to have those moments. And when you do, silly, just try to throw it out. And if you do, that's okay. We're human, right? So when you start to have that, just start to stop. Okay, you know what? I realized what's just about to happen. Now, the more you do that, even though you may have that a lot, just slowly start recognizing. When you start recognizing, that's when it gets better. When it starts getting better, you start to stop yourself. When you start stopping yourself, you start thinking more positive. When you start thinking more positive, more things are just going to keep going forward. I promise you. Like, I don't like to put that out there in the universe, but that is something I know this universe wants to be out there. Just give it a try, okay? I know there's people out there that's like, well, Ray, I never eaten shit, but I can tell you it's probably not going to taste good. It's probably not good for you, But it's just like that old school thing about, eating your vegetables and whatnot, right? How do you not like something if you never tried it? Not saying about the crap, okay? I am with you on that. So, but just give it a try. Try to think more, focus your shift to reality in something a little different, more positive. And I know it kind of went off a little bit tangent, but I still kind of wanted to go full circle about how the universe will still have your back. You'll start getting signs of that. you know, I start to realize once I start doing this, little things, little hints are like, do this, do this, do this, do this. And obviously it's not like something talking to yourself, but you just start getting these feelings, these something in your stomach, like butterflies in a sense, but a little bit different. Something that helps you focus. Like, you know what? I got to do this. It's like when you wake up, all of a sudden you start going to do something else. You know, you just, all of a sudden your brain starts changing, you know, that pattern. So Cosmic Surfers, with much love. I will say that you may see a video or two of me like with my head shaved. There's still stuff that I haven't set up or put out on YouTube because I just wasn't really sure, you know, with the content in itself. I'm going through a transition myself, and I'm going through a transition of reality, and with other things in 3D Matrix that people, when they see it, they're gonna say, "Oh, you're this or you're that," and have this negative feeling. Normally, I don't give a blank, but however, there's something important in my life that I don't want to be fully be taken away from. So I may not be able to post a certain thing. So if you do see something with my head shaved, obviously you know that's, you know, an older video, but that is something still new content. Anyways, so I will be making more videos. You know, trust me, I will. And you know, it's just when it comes to me, and there's a lot of things I do want to talk about. It's just I don't like to recycle stuff that's been on YouTube, and you know, but no offense to them, but let's just say all the things you probably have seen, I've definitely been having these downloads too. So with much love to everyone, you guys take care, and we'll definitely get back to you guys. And much love as always. Hope everyone finds that inner peace of life and of love, and just let go. Okay, just let go. Take care, Cosmic Surfers. Hope you have a great holiday season, and just know we're all going through it. We're all going through it. And when you're going through it at that moment, be like, you know what? I know that mother effer on YouTube is going through it too. So, yes, I am. And I swear I'm probably feeling you. All right. Take care.